Hey guys, welcome to the blog today. So, as you are aware, there's always something going on with the coronavirus during this time, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle to find things to continue to talk about when we're in the middle of this crisis in our country right now. But I found something that I think you guys may find very interesting. You may not. I find it interesting because it's a forward looking thing of what the FTC is going to be doing, what I think the FTC is going to be doing here in the near future. So there was a Canadian company called TapLock. They make fingerprint enabled padlocks and that can connect to smartphones. And they claimed that, it was secure. Well, the FTC took a look at it and they had a finding come down on them about misrepresentation about how secure the locks were and that they weren't that secure, and they basically failed to actually secure customer data, fingerprint, biometric type stuff, right? Um, so the interesting thing about it was the lock itself. The FTC was able to just take the screws off the back of the lock and compromise the entire thing. So yeah, security of the actual lock itself, when you can actually physically destroy the device, that's not security. And so the of course the FTC is responsible for pursuing organization that makes false and misleading statements. The FTC is the main body that actually enforces cybersecurity, well, no, privacy laws. Okay, the FTC, is the body in the United States that brings lawsuits against corporations for false and misleading statements, and the way they've interpreted that and some of these breaches like Equifax and things like that. And with these companies, they're failing to meet a certain standard, and that's why they're able to get them on these false and misleading statements, whether it be false and misleading statements based on what you say in your privacy policy, false or misleading statements about the product itself. They're able to bring these suits, and then that gives the FTC the ability to come in and do an investigation to see, under the covers, right? And so the fact that they were able to break the lock and actually get access to the lock just by taking the screws off the back, that wasn't a good thing. As well as I think from the security part of the fingerprint piece of it, there were also some serious issues in regards to the protection of that individual data. And what's interesting, and that's pretty much the case. And I'll put of course, put the link on in the comments. But what was interesting about what I see going forward, because the FTC comes in, they do these investigations, and they look at your information security program, and then they judge your information security program, and then based on what they find is how they end up, fining you for these false and misleading statements. So I think that what they went in and they said, I think what the FTC is doing. So one of the things that they said that is forward thinking in regards to these information security programs is whether or not information security privacy by design. So you have these Internet of Things devices, which the biometric lock was IoT device. And if you have a if you show and you document that you thought about security from the very beginning, you're in a good place. But if you don't, it seems like the FTC is going to come in, and that's going to be one of the things that they're going to be looking at in the future. And when they're out there now assessing these products, they're going to ask a simple question: did you have an information security person involved in the process of designing this particular product? And if the answer is no, you're going to be fined. And that's what I think is going to happen, because the Internet of Things, these items that we're actually putting on the IoT devices that we're putting on the internet, we're putting on the network, and then with 5G coming and everything else. And so now the assessment has to change. And forward thinking, the FTC is going to sit back and say, wait a minute, so you say this is secure, but did you have any security people in the process of you actually designing this product? And if the answer is no, then you can't say you had security or privacy in mind when you were doing this. And you have the security by design, privacy by design aspects. And the challenges with startups is just, they're just trying to get it. They're just trying to make it. I'm still at that 2 year mark, and I'm trying to make it. I just know a little better about, not making false statements about what I can and cannot do, but I don't have a product. It's services. But in any event, all I'm saying is, for those startups out there that are now creating these products, I know you don't want to spend the money, but I think you need to understand that the FTC is going to come in, and if you have an issue, they're going to start looking at whether or not you have these teams in place and who you had on your team. And if you documented that you were thinking about this, from the very beginning. So it's the all of these legislations, all of these laws that we do have in this country, when they come in and there's a breach, they're going to ask you, did you think about it beforehand? Did you do a risk assessment? Did you understand, the security features, and did anybody try to break the lock? I mean, if you could just take a hammer and break it, what's the point of the biometrics piece? Why are you collecting data if it's not physically securing anything? Just, as simple as a criminal coming up and hitting it over. I mean, because the lock is a physical device. Okay. In any event, that's what I see coming. I see the FTC starting to now look at, the design and whether or not you were thinking about it in the beginning. So we'll see. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. Actually, stay tuned for the random thought. We have another issue that I have in regards to IoT. All right. Have a great day. For those of you who are new to the blog, new to Mary Cheney, and you say, who in the world is this woman on here talking about this boring subject? Let me give you an introduction to my background. My name is Mary Cheney. Like I said, I own my own cybersecurity and privacy law practice in Dallas, Texas. That's why it's affectionately called the Cybersecurity Law Firm of Texas. I have an IT background. My undergraduate degree is in information systems. After undergraduate, I went to law school. It's a fascinating story. You have to look at the other videos on the channel to get the full story. I won't bore you guys with those details right now. But after undergraduate, I went to law school in Houston, Texas. I graduated, took and passed the bar, and went into the FBI. So I was a federal investigator for the FBI, where I investigated cybercrime. I did that for several years. I was able to serve as an information security officer for the FBI in Los Angeles. And then I started my first career as an entrepreneur. And I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to Cincinnati, Ohio. And I was back in Ohio, and I started my own consulting practice. And I was able to run that consulting practice for about 4 years before I ran out of money the first time. And then I went into corporate America. So I started my corporate journey. I spent times as an executive for GE Capital, Johnson & Johnson, as well as Comcast on the operations side. I never did practice law. Once passing the bar and going through the FBI, I started my career in the operations side, right? My corporate career on the operations side. So I was director of incident response for GE Capital. I was the director of the Security Operations Center for Johnson & Johnson, and had a stint with Comcast where I was in the global CISO's office. So much of my career up until, a few years ago was on the operations side, security operations side. So left corporate America to start my own law practice. I started my own law practice in 2018. And I only know cybersecurity and privacy. That's the only thing I've ever done. It's the only thing that I love to do. So I started my law practice, and I've been having a lot of fun. I moonlight as an adjunct professor with the University of Cincinnati, where I teach information security, cybersecurity courses. I also own my own nonprofit, where minorities in cybersecurity. You may hear me talk about that as well, where we try to create a leadership community for those that are entering cybersecurity, that are in cybersecurity, that are trying to get promoted in cybersecurity. So we provide um, a, a forum for them to map out their careers and move forward in this fascinating field. So I just wanted to take a little time out to give you a little bit of background about me, just in case you were wondering who in the world this woman was. Thanks. Are you a VIP? More importantly, are you a cybersecurity law firm of Texas VIP? What's VIP, you may ask? VIP stands for Virtual Information Protection. For those organizations that may not need a full time resource to handle their cybersecurity and privacy needs, they can hire the Cybersecurity Law Firm of Texas on an outsourced basis to handle those needs. If you want to learn more, please click the link below. Right, guys. So, random thought. I saw this article and it's out of the really, are we really doing this? So, it's about a smart toilet. And so, it basically, there's this company that has created this toilet that will identify users through an anal scan using a camera tucked under the seat, checking your waste for diseases like cancer, and sharing that information with your doctors. And the individuals are saying this is similar to a smartwatch, and that people will be willing to um, sit on a smart toilet to share their information with their doctor. And it just, I I just think to myself, okay, why? I mean, I understand that there are, colonoscopies and all this other stuff that one takes from a medical perspective, but now you're going to take a biometric scan of my butt, and you're going to identify me and identify disease, and then they said the information is going to be stored in a secure cloud-based system. So, getting back to what we were talking about before, did they have security and privacy, specifically healthcare data, in mind when they just started to design this individual toilet? It doesn't seem like it. I just, beyond the why would I do that? The second issue is, do I want, another device attached to the internet that can't be secured, that now stores or has more personal information about me, more biometric information about me, that I can't sure I can't make sure that it's actually being safe. We all know that misconfigurations in the cloud happens all the time. So now it's just more of my data that is out there that's now going to be sold. And again, of course, they can say, it's for your doctor, but they're collecting this data. They're collecting this data to now sell to drug companies. I'm sure. I mean, I'm a skeptic. And so it's like, the more data you have about me, the more data that you're going to be able to sell about me and try to push products toward me. So now I collect all this information about, maybe they sell it to the toilet tissue companies. Okay, bad joke. I know we having some toilet paper issues in our country right now, but I mean, who knows what they can do with that data? And the toilet may not be able to be secure. Can I change the password? Can I restrict the type of data that I have? This is just a bad idea, and it just, okay. Well, that's my random thought, random rant for today. The smart toilet thing. I just think that's a bad idea. Tell me what you think. Have a great day. Bye bye. Guys, thanks again for listening to the Breach Whisperer blog, sponsored by the cybersecurity law firm of Texas. Don't forget to like this post and subscribe to our channel so you can get updates of when we post new things on our channel. In addition, spread the word for me, right? Let's get out there and tell a friend, and so they can all become paranoid cybersecurity and privacy people. Don't forget, if you would like to connect with me on socials, you can connect with me on Twitter. At Mary N. Cheney, use my middle initial always. For my nonprofit, Minorities in Cybersecurity, that is at Mike Leadership, and Instagram and Facebook at MN Cheney Law. And you can find me on LinkedIn just by searching for my name. So if you're interested, connect with me. Thanks again. And just remember, awareness equals knowledge.